Today we're going to be on Twin Rivers, featuring a 3v3 between myself and a couple of friends versus 3 other people of similar rank. So, in the back here we have Black Reaper going Aeon. On one side we have Terminator going Cybran, and down here we have Evgendik going UEF. Now all of us are around 1,000, 1,200, 1,300. It's pretty evenly matched up. Down here we have Vekasis going UEF, Jailbait, or I might refer to him as Kresdy, going Seraphim, and Grey Noise Reborn going Aeon. So we got 2 Aeon players here in the back, got 2 UEF players over here, and then the only mismatch would be this Cybran and this Seraphim. But we do have all 4 factions being represented. So, speed this up a little bit. Get some early build going on. Let's see, what does he go for? He goes for a couple of... Is he going anything special here? We got 2 engineers and a scout, 2 bombers, an interceptor, 2 engineers, and then a transport. And as for Grey Noise, doesn't quite show yet. I'm guessing engineer spam for now until... Ah, that's weird. Well, anyway. Let's see, Vekasis is going land and land. Jailbait going on second land already, building up some power, possibly putting an air factory there. Or another land 1 or something like that. Over here we have an engineer, and Vekasis is being picked off before it can get too many of these things out. Got the transports, got the skyboxer. So I got the majority of the reclaim. 760 to Terminator. It looked like he got some of the reclaim himself as well, so 624. So on the whole, not too much, even though they're not mirrors themselves. And we got a couple of mech marines going up against some engineers and some snoops, and otherwise Vegas is getting the better of things here. Although it could be very unfortunate running into this commander, while he gets 3 factories up here. Meanwhile, Vegas is going 4 factories up here, and Jailbait deciding not to finish the factory, instead going for mechs first. Meanwhile, we have 2 bombers out. This one's already got 3 kills on it, and I missed that, and then this one... Is it going to pop these 3? Yes, it's going to pop... Oh, 4. Got 4 engineers there. At least there's already 5 kills on this thing. So these bombers are already paying for themselves quite nicely, and these got interceptors going after who's going to kill that bomber off anyway. So this bomber continues to have free reign over Vekasis, though building anti-air guns. Continues to hurt. Continues to be very unpleasant. Meanwhile, no place for the side islands as of yet. Looks like Black Reaper is going to drop somewhere. Nowhere quite yet. Meanwhile, Grey Noise has 6 engineers on a path to the bottom island. And it looks like Black Reaper is going to do the same. Does he have any scouts out there? No, does Grey Noise. And he doesn't know that this one's coming. Meanwhile, we have a few units going through here, while Evgendik is going for the gun upgrade. And over here, Terminator is going with some T1 PD as to deter Jailbait, making any further advances, especially from his units as well, which I don't see a lot of artillery. There's only a couple pieces here. Meanwhile, Vegas is bringing up 4 factories, 5 factories, 6 factories, factories all day, and sending his units to fight a commander. Real smart move. Meanwhile, these units got around the back here, picking off engineers. This was that band from earlier. And a couple mechs while they were at it. Now, over here, Black Reaper has already completed a factory. So is Grey Noise, and Grey Noise, if he's paying attention, will probably get the better of that, because he's already got more establishment here. Plus, he has more engineers. And same is said for the top island, just not quite to the same extent, not yet. But it's quite obvious that he's been spotted. Now, Venstick bringing in his gun commander with a bunch of units into Vexus' firebase. Meanwhile, Vegas is unupgraded, having to go up against an upgraded comm. Now, I remember when I did this, I was concerned for my comm's life because I figured eventually it could come after me and take me out, simply because he had twice the DPS that I did on the comm. Plus, I believe it adds range to it as well. On top of that, he had units and I did not. Meanwhile, over here, the Terminator is on an upgrade, and so is Jailbait, while their units feel free to try and bait each other left and right to areas of death. Meanwhile, Vexus needing to back up and deal with these units before they become too much of a hassle and make it into the main base and cause problems. However, a redeeming factor is the fact that we have these two, or Team 2 has these side islands here. Nothing yet to be made from Black Reaper to try and fight back there. Now, of course, Jailbait can't bring in all of his units because the only reason these units are here is to counter these units. If he brings these units over here, Terminator will feel free to bring his units in and run through his base. So despite the fact that this fire base is being taken down, already 3 factories down, going on 4. Well, I guess he did bring some units in. I guess he feels comfortable going to, how about Vexus while feeling like this will be enough. We'll see how that goes. Go into 2 screens here, that's not the right button. Here we go. So over here we have this incursion, and now Black Reaper bringing in his interceptors to fight over Vexus' fire base, which has now been completely taken out, save 1 factory that's remaining idle. Now Venstick has taken quite the beating, and feels need to back up. Meanwhile, I did miss this down here. There were some units that did make a run by and destroyed a couple of these mexes. And over here, Terminator is also having some success taking down Jailbait's main forward factories. Already took 1 down, but he's not going to make much progress against this upgraded gun commander. Now, there's already a PD creep going here. There's a Cerberus turret already a few back up here, and this one, bringing out a split screen here. So PD creep, because this does not look good. You got a PD creep over here, already taking out all these units. You've got a destroyed front base here. And you ask, what are you going to do at this point? You figure, what is Vexus going to do to bring himself back into this game? What is Jailbait going to do to avoid losing his front? Because things do not look particularly good for Team 2 right now, despite the fact that they have both these side islands. Grey Noise is feeling free to bring himself further ahead. As far as eco is concerned, though, they're about the same, 49-49. And Black Reaper has a lot more energy as well, so there's not really a big energy problem on Team 1 side. Meanwhile, these units continue to move forward, destroy what's left of this fire base, take down this T2 mechs. While Vexus is up on an upgrade, bringing forward some pillars, but otherwise not much left. There's only a few factories here, and we'll see what happens with these units. Meanwhile, Jailbait is entering the Turtle War. There's going to be some Cerberus turret versus T2PD Seraphim. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Shield offering decent amount of protection against Cerberus turrets. Or any T2PD for that matter. Meanwhile, Venstick going up against Vexus' newly formed T2-T1 army. Meanwhile, this is only T1 right here. I don't see T2. No, there is T2 open, just not really in the form of units yet. Meanwhile, Grey Noise bringing in some Auroras to hopefully stem the tide of things, make a run by in the back of Venstick's base, offer Vexus a way back into this game after losing the fire base. There's a lot of reclaim to be had here as well. And over here, same thing. Unfortunately, neither side can get this reclaim because of the T2 PD. Maybe a little bit on Jailbait's side, but not so much for Terminator. Now the run-by didn't go so well over here. Now, similarly, this run-by was thwarted pretty quickly. There's only a couple of Auroras left being chased down by strikers. Not really much they can hope to accomplish, I don't think. Meanwhile, some mexes were given over to Jailbait in an attempt to help out his eco a little bit and afford him some extra mass to help fight this turtle war. Similarly, Grey Noise offers Vegasus some T2 units and a few more back here. Meanwhile, Venstick is happy to turtle way back in his firebase. And now we enter a bit of a lull in activity. We'll bring this up to +4. Black Reaper already has... Are those T3? No, those are just T2. Let's see. Grey Noise is on T3 air. Only producing engineers at the moment. Venstick telling Black Reaper here to take the sides, as they don't seem to be very well protected. I mean, yeah, it was early game protection that you couldn't get past that, but game's already a decent way into it. You might be able to get some success here. Meanwhile, the Turtle War continues. You got MMLs going up against MMLs and TMD. We'll see where this goes. Meanwhile, Terminator. That was horrifyingly horrible to watch. Now we have a drop on this island. Is there anything going on over this one? Nope, just this one for now. Got a bunch of fervors going after some T2 mexes, it looks like. This is probably going to hurt Grey Noise quite a bit, who's actually pulled ahead as far as eco's concerned. Might be able to level the playing field on this one. Also, he has air superiority over here, bringing in some gunships, some Spectres. Might be able to take off this entire island from Grey Noise. Meanwhile, over here, a bunch of T1 massing. Any T2 units. Some pillars, some mongoose. And over here, some Ishibos. And some mobile missile launchers. Stealth gen goes down. Power. Is that an issue for him right now? Not really, especially now that he has that T2P gen up. One thing about the Cybern shields is, despite how crappy they are at the ED1 phase, they are cheap shields. Meanwhile, we have a new engagement over here between Vegasus and Venstick. Now, those were just engineers denying reclaim. Meanwhile, up here, it's an air engagement. Grey Noise trying to go after Black Reaper with Swift Winds, but seeing as it's the same level unit, it's just not going to go over very well for him. Meanwhile, these Spectre gunships finish off everything that's left at his base. Now, Black Reaper is in a great position to actually take this island entirely. Only thing left on it is a couple of Auroras. Well, no, I guess not. This island is blank except for some reclaim here and there. Meanwhile, some Spectre gunships could just as easily take down this side of the island as well. So we'll see if that changes hands. I don't want to do any foreshadowing because I really wasn't paying attention to this when I was playing on this map. Meanwhile, more PD, more MMLs. Anything going into T3 phases yet? Oh, more T2 and... Oh, it looks like, look at that, sniper bots. Easily range these units. Or potentially range anything in the middle here. Are there any sniper bots already out for them? Nope. This is the first one. looks like as far as MMLs are concerned, Jailbait's not looking too hot. Gotta find a way to destroy these MMLs before they eventually, and they will take down this turtle base in time if there's no drastic action taken. Vegas is feeling free to bring some units forward as well, as I did make it back into this one. This whole forward base that was destroyed finally back under Vexus's control. Meanwhile, Avengestick going the way of, I'm guessing, T3? So 250, 230, yeah, this is T3. Oh crap, I missed it. Black Reaper takes out both side islands. Or, well, kind of. Reno is feeling free to come back in, reclaim what's left, and try and rebuild here. And also just bring his ASFs over. Some expensive scouting. But yeah, things are starting to look pretty leveled out now. A little bit more in Team 1's favor in the early game when both front players were sort of overrun. Firebase was destroyed, and this one was, well, not quite destroyed, but under heavy attack at one point. So now I've entered another lull in the game, while the heavy contested points would be the side islands here. This gunships sitting there looking very vulnerable. Now both sides enter the PD war, PD creep. Bring in some Vexus units to kill off these MMLs. Suicide in the long run. A few of them were killed though. Meanwhile, both Avengestick and Vexus have huge numbers of T1 and T2 units just sitting on the front of their bases. But now they're both gone T3. We got Ravagers out from both sides. A bit more of an expensive PD war between the two UEF players. How do their ecos look? 71 to 62 between these two players in favor of Vexus, and Terminator at 60 and Jailbait at 120. So Pink here has double the eco of Terminator, who lost a Nex over here. TML perhaps? Yep, we got a TML launcher right here. I'm not seeing it as a zapper here now. Yeah, probably why he fell behind due to zappers and or lack thereof. Meanwhile, Black Reaper sitting here comfortably, having air control for the most part over the front positions. How many ASF do they have between them? Grey Noise is at 13. Black Reaper is at 16, but also in terms of swift wins, there's 12 swift wins as well. And looks like Terminator's front base has been destroyed, because the sniper bots and MMLs really finally did him in. I mean, you're going up against someone with double the eco that you have. You're eventually going to lose. Now, what's Terminator? How does it look for him? Doesn't have a whole lot of units here. I gotta ask, what would you do in this situation? What do you have? What are your options? You've just lost your front base. You got a guy who has more eco than you. Of course, you probably wouldn't know that at the time. What are your options? It looks like he decided to eco only. Just try and afford him some mass. And he's already brought himself up into the 80s. We'll see if he does anything with it, though. I mean, ecoing is great and all, but you gotta be able to do something with it. Meanwhile, Grey Noise takes back both side islands for now. Of course, I'm not sure how long it's gonna last, seeing as this air transport's going to be... Oh, it's not going to the island. It's going over here. We'll see what happens with this. just before I look at that, am I missing anything here? Not really. So now we got a bunch of fervors in Jailbait's main base. Depending on what he goes after, this could really hurt him. He does have a really huge eco, though. He's already lost to T3 mechs. I wonder if they're going to destroy the wreck, too. Nope. And it looks like they've all been popped. Single T3 already. Sithonus. Able to take all of them out with a single shot. Splash damage is ridiculous. Speaking of which, brings out a bunch of Sithonus to attack Avengetics firebase, allowing Vecus to take control of this PD war. Bring it to +2. Now Avengetics is being forced back up a little bit. Before that, or just wait for shields to come back up. It looks like Vecus is looking a little bit more comfortable now. Has some reclaim here. Has a few more shields, a few more Ravagers. Very expensive PD creep, but still a necessary one. Meanwhile, there's not so much here. There's some Triads left, making this army rush not a very good option. Looks like Avengetics deciding to rebuild his firebase outside, or not outside, behind his factory line, going the way of TMLs. But these shields are not going to last very long. Not at this rate. So now Avengetics is deciding to move all of his units over to Jailbait's MMLs and engineers, which were looking pretty vulnerable. But of course this is also, for some odd reason, started an air engagement. Oh, that's because of the restos. Both sides have restos out? No, it looks like just Black Reaper. And between their ecos, it looks about the same. So looks like, well, let's see, Black Reaper is a little bit lower than Grey Noise. Terminator's still a decent way below Jailbait, and Avengetics is just a little behind Vecus. So Team 2 is out-ecoing all of their mirrors right now. And now Black Reaper bringing in a bunch of engineers to fight off this incursion. But Grey Noise is on the wiser, he sees this as well. Both Ps were out of range. There's no factory here. So this might go the way of Black Reaper. Meanwhile, down here, wouldn't take much. There's no factory down here either. Oh, there is one actually. But it's not really producing any attack units. Couldn't take out a band of engineers. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep saying that word, Vecus just brings in his units to fight Avengetics. And there's a GC out for Black Reaper. And a GC out for Great Noise. See which way he goes. He goes down to Avengetics, who is under heavy fire right now from a lot of blazes and pillars and other T2 units. But he is sitting on a lot of HP from the start. He's already lost half of it though. He's down to 12,000, so about the same as a stock ACU at this point. With this GC, I'm sure he'll be fine, but he was looking at a bit of danger earlier. Now this GC comes down towards Vecus' main base and attacking all of his units. Not much being done with this area though. There's only two engineers left on the top. Now Grey Noise comes in with his GC, and it's under T3 artillery fire. And the shield gen goes up, just no, not anytime too soon. Okay, never mind. Let's see where this goes. It'll come down to support, really. It looks like Grey Noise is going to win this one, but not by much. Might end up losing it there. Because this still is in the general territory control of Team 1. Venstick, who's already repaired himself, could just go over here and pick up this mass. Now, Grey Noise, wisely backing up his GC, has to not let it die in Team 1's hands, wants to bring it back to friendly territory, if at all possible. Of course, there's not a lot of air cover right now for Team 2. Grey Noise can't take down these Restos and these ASFs, so it really comes down to these T3 shield generators. It's gonna be close. Oh, and there's a chicken too. And the GC survives on 900 HP. Might as well just control K it. And now Vegas is going into Terminator's base. But it's probably gonna get picked off by these Restos with all what's left of the T1 units. Affording these Restos vet and also getting shot by the Ravagers. Looks like it was control K'd. Giving the mass over here to Kresde. I guess he's taking some TMLs. And we'll take another look at the Eco bench check at 78, Vegas is at 100. Terminator at 148, Jailbait at 184, and Black Reaper at 197, so he pulled ahead. Oh, okay, 172, maybe it's a reclaim thing. He's at 172 to 178, so, yeah. Okay, so these numbers are screwing with me now? Okay, that's 178, not 209. So these numbers are actually about the same, but still, Team 2's players are ecoing better than Team 1's. We'll see how this works out for them, because there's two chickens versus this Monkey Lord. This may not go over well. So what else does he have left? There's Calm, which you can probably overcharge it if there weren't all these shields in the way. Oh, but this is going to be close. Actually, no, probably not. Got these Restos here, but chicken's not attacking Terminator. Terminator is able to run away from this chicken. Oh, this is okay. This will be close. Now he's got to run away from this Ion Storm in order to live. Bring in a sniper too, or sniper. Oh yeah, like a sniper bot or a sniper of some sort. Nope, I guess not. Yathela finally caught up to him, but in the process did have to walk through this Ion Storm, so he's lost a lot of HP in the process. So Terminator goes down. This is starting to look a little one-sided. Now this chicken goes down, and there's a Galactic Colossus who has free reign over this. Of course, he is taking a lot of damage. As for that Ion Storm, oh, that's gonna hurt. He's not even gonna make it out of that. But that is a lot of mass. Now they're bringing a Tsar in. Well, we'll see where that goes. I'm trying to keep my eye on it when it comes up. Meanwhile, Venstick, sitting here pretty comfortably in his turtle base, has some SAMs, has some Ravagers, has some T3 artillery, building up a fat boy. What's Vegas is doing here? You got a still T2, so got still T2, no T3 land as of yet. Now, there's a lot of mass to be had here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 experimental wrecks. And if Team 2 gets their hands on it, this game will be laughably one-sided. But perhaps Black Reaper gets it, he could probably tip the balance. So it really might just come down to reclaim. Fat Boy goes down. Venstick, oh boy, this is going to be close. Avengestick still manages to live again. There's another reclaim on it. So as bleak as it looks for this team, they do have a lot of spare mass in their territory. But how much reclaim does he have? 25,000. Vectis is 13,000. Black Reaper has 23,000 in climbing compared to Grey Noise's 16,000, and Jailbait has 42,000 as opposed to Terminator. Okay, Terminator hardly had any reclaim this whole match before he died, compared to Jailbait, who's been reclaiming a lot, apparently. He's got more reclaim than anyone else by nearly double. Of course, it's bound to change really soon, seeing as all these wrecks are about to be reclaimed. This Tsar is probably going to be finished really soon as a result. Now, over here, Restos are fighting ASFs, and both Jailbait and Grey Noise bringing in their ASFs to fight this. Now, everything they've got is going into this one. A lot of the Restos have already gone down. Got a couple T2AA here. And I think this is probably going to come out as a draw. The Restos will go down. Mostly, all but one. Which is what Team 2 were going after. Speaking of which, now they've got a lot of flak here. Dotted about the line. You probably saw the Tsar. Maybe. Maybe not. So this is being taken down. This is, got a bunch of clink hammers here. Taking long-range pot shots at these Ravagers and otherwise taking out as much as they can of Avengestick's firebase. Can take down the whole thing. But they don't have eyes on the Tsar. And that could be very bad. I know I've had several games where just a Tsar comes out of nowhere and just kills everyone. And Grey Noise with another GC. Black Reaper asks where the comm is. And Avengestick just sitting there eating fire. Over here, there's a Tsar goes right over all this flak and goes right over where Vectis is. This could be pretty close. Wreck goes overhead. Takes a lot of Vectis' firebase out. And also brings him down to a few thousand HP less. Could be a last-ditch effort. I mean, if they had taken me out of this game, probably could have stood a decent chance, but at this point, it's not looking so hot for their team. It's got another GC up. How much of the wrecks have they reclaimed? It looks like the Yathota, the GC, and the Monkey Lord have all been reclaimed. They still have yet to take out this, take the Yathota over here. Of course, not that it would matter. He's having energy problems. And so is Avengestick. Shields are staying down. But he probably only because he's building a fat boy here. These clink hammers are being nothing less than real pains in the asses. Taking out the power grid and among other things. Bring this up to +5. Looks like this side was just counted as a draw, and then similarly for this one, both teams really stopped caring about the side islands, but they did trade hands a lot. Mostly went in favor of Grey Noise, but occasionally they went over to Black Reaper's side as well. And it looks like, as far as Eco's concerned, everyone but Avengestick has hit the hundreds. Black Reaper doing more, but on the whole, it's really in favor of Team 2 at this point. They're going to need to pull something really drastic in order to win this one. looks like all they're doing is building GCs and restos as far as Black Reaper is concerned, is all he's been doing. And this fat boy can range a fire base, potentially. Does it outrange the Clink Hammers? Not really, but it can do a lot more damage. Especially now that, especially given that it's shielded. It can just sit there and range them all day. I mean, these Ravagers can't hit them, no? No. It's not an effective range on. So he's gonna sit here and range Vegas' fire base. There's a lot of T2 MMLs here, but they can't reach him either. So they're gonna have to probably pull something by the air, but...
Strategic launch detected.
Oh no, there's a nuke. It looks like it's going after Pegasus, because it wouldn't go after Greenhouse's base like that. Excuse me, I'm foreshadowing here. Had an SML. Nothing loaded. Barely completed. Meanwhile... missed it. I'm sorry. It was a strap bomb rush that came through here. Caught him while I was unaware. Meanwhile, this base was taken out. Now, having played this match, being Vegas, I can tell you right now, I meant to build an SMD, but I built an SML, and I guess that concerned him to the point where he decided to nuke my base, but none of us had anti-nuke. Could have just nuked any of us. But I don't think it would have mattered because now Reaper was down. And I guess when you're that far behind, your best option is to go nuke launcher. See if you can't snipe someone that way. Because nukes have otherwise been neglected the whole game. And the only way... I don't remember where I was going with that. But no one thought to build nuke defense. We just tried to focus on the turtling, taking over the side islands a lot. And also, we were pushed really early on, so you're like, what am I going to do at this point? You know, you lost a lot of map control. You ask yourself, what's the best option for you? And that's what it's coming to. Like, you know, you start to fall behind, and you have to weigh your options. And sometimes those options work better than others. Like when I built factories down here and just decided to, like, hold my own in this little area, and then eventually push back out here and try and turtle my way back. But Evenstick, he didn't capitalize on the fact that he had pushed me back with his Rambo comm. But he was also taking a lot of damage. He even got Mercy sniped at one point with a single Mercy. It wasn't the intention to kill him with it, but it was like enough to deter him to not press forward. Although had he pressed forward, he might have been able to take out more of my base to the point where I would not be able to come back, and he would have been able to build more units if he had actually sniped my economy. Now over here, there was this similar thing happened where a base was run over, and out. You could say, do I want to build a lot of units or build PV, or what are you going to do to come back from falling behind? And I guess that's what this game was about. And I think our team made the right decisions when we started to fall behind. This team, I mean, they made some decent decisions, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the ones that kept them alive.